Good morning, good afternoon, or whatever time it is in your part of the internet world. Today, I'm going to measures 14 through 18 of the Bach Invention and then see how it fits in there. Now, this is part of a series, and what I've been doing here is just showing the practice technique that I use to play classical music, particularly tricky stuff like Bach's Inventions. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to play for these 5 measures. I'm going to play the right and left hand separately like I've been doing, then show you how to put it together, and then show you how it fits the whole thing. So starting with measure 18, we have a 16th rest and then a series of 12 16th notes. And I end with finger 2 on A at the top of measure 19, and I'm going to stop there. Now the left hand starts without a rest at the beginning of the measure, comes in with a series of 5/8 notes, and at the end of the measure, 3/16 notes. That rhythm pattern persists through 4 measures, and then in measure 18, it kind of goes back to the main theme. And that ends with finger 4 on middle C at the top of measure 19. Now, here's what happens when you put these together, hopefully. All right, now I'm going to go back to the very top of the piece, and somewhere around that very nice slow tempo, I'm going to try to play the whole piece up to that measure, probably with a little bit of pausing, trying to hit as few incorrect notes as possible during my practice. And of course, I'm going to have to pause to turn the page because I don't have it memorized yet. But what happens is, after all this practicing and repeating, what happens is you memorize it by muscle rote, and your fingers automatically know where to go, and you can play it without the sheet music in front of you. At least I can. That's how the one thing, I'm not a great sight reader, but once I know the piece, I have it memorized. I'm pretty good with that. And unless I don't play it for a long time, basically it's in your muscles. It's in it, and I'll talk about that later. It's right down into your cellular level. You have it memorized, which is really cool. So from the top. so now I have up to measure 18 done, which means I have 7 measures left. So what I'm going to do is probably continue to practice those 18 measures a little bit more today. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go into I'm going to handle the next part. I'm going to do the next 4 measures and then do the final 3. There's a finale in the final 3, and the whole thing. It gets I'm going to explain those parts when I get there. But getting back to what I said about playing very slow, the reason I do that is because I cannot play it quickly without making a lot of mistakes. So when you're practicing, the slower you practice it, the faster you learn it, because you'll make less mistakes. What happens is, if in your practice you continually you're playing so fast that you continually make the same mistakes over and over, what happens is you're not making mistakes. What you're doing is you're practicing how to do it incorrect. So that's why you're better off playing, even if you have to stop and interrupt the tempo, get your fingers to the correct note. Again, if you just keep making the same mistake over and over again, you're not just making a mistake. You're practicing how to do it wrong. So, the slower you practice, the faster you'll learn it. So, that's today's lesson with the Bach Invention. Again, everybody stay well, and I'll say it again. Don't spread fear and misinformation. Your mind and body are a temple. We don't put rubbish in the temple. Do something positive with your time. Stay safe. If you can help somebody safely without, coming in contact and spreading, then do that. But, be well. I'll see you tomorrow.